15 things that have helped me escape the matrix. I'm going to list these things out, but I'm not going to go into the hows and the whys. So not how do you do it, or why does it work? Because that would be a very lengthy video to try to cover all 15 of these. But in the comments below, let me know which one of these you want me to dive deeper into, why it works and how to do it, and I'll take care of that. So the first thing that you need to understand about escaping the matrix is the first matrix is inside your head. It's not escaping what's going on in the world, but it's actually inside the head. You have a program that has been set prior to you being 8 years old. Most of that programming has been hardwired in there, and most of us aren't even aware of it. So one of the very first things you've got to do is you've got to learn how to identify what your programs are, and then you need to master the skill of rewriting your beliefs, rewriting your programs. It can be done, and it is the most impactful and the number one thing that you have to learn to do. It's twofold there, right? The second, which contributes to the first, is meditation. Meditation allows you to become the observer of your thoughts, and you become more of a witness to your programming, which is one of those things that helps you uncover what that programming is so that you can work on it. Meditation also allows you at times to somewhat escape the matrix, have mystical experiences, and to see the world in a whole new light. Number 3, you have to be mindful of what you're consuming. We all have heard the story, right? Garbage in, garbage out, not just applied to food, but applies to your thinking as well, and to your understanding and to your programming. So we have to become very conscious of who we listen to, of what we're reading, of what we're watching, of the music that we're listening to, the environment that we place ourselves in. We have to be very intentional about what we are consuming. For example, if you only listen to dogma and doctrine and theology from one religious viewpoint, you're stuck. If you only watch Fox or CNN, you're stuck.
The sharing of biased and
false news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets publish things are true without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
It's very easy to tell people who are really stuck and they're not intentional about their consumption, but it can go all the way down to the very music you listen to. Number 4 is my gratitude practice. It has been one of the most liberating things that I've incorporated into my life, that has changed my attitude towards everything, and definitely a key factor in helping me escape the programming and the matrix that I was stuck in. Number 5, hiring a coach. Or a guru or a teacher or some type of leader. Now, it's not to say you're going to stay with this person for life. It could be a very short season, or it could be for a short-term commitment, 6 months or a year. My current coach right now, we're in a 1-year agreement. I've paid a lot of money for it, but it is so worth it. The things that he is helping me uncover. So I highly suggest that you make sure that you're intentional about it, but you have some type of great mentor or guru or teacher or leader, somebody who is ahead of this path, way ahead of you, and they're able to help you really address some of these programming issues. Number 6, like my gratitude practice, I also learned a practice of abundance. I used to have a scarcity mindset. I used to always be looking for a better deal, how to save money, things like that. And I did not practice an abundant mindset. There is a more than enough resources in this world for all of us. And if there wasn't, they would be created because of divine love. That's how much God loves us. So you don't need to be stuck in this scarcity and this fear. That is the matrix that has you trapped in there. When you begin to practice abundance, an abundant mindset, it frees you from that scarcity. It frees you from that fear. It frees you from the matrix. Number 7, fasting. Fasting is not just food, though that is something you should be doing, a regular fasting schedule. At least fasting on auspicious days, very spiritual days, days of full moons, days of new moons. You can choose whatever cycle you want, but highly recommending fast, whether it be 24 hours, 3 days, 7 days, or longer. You should be fasting, but not only from food. You can be doing digital detoxes. You can fast from certain relationships. You can fast from certain vices that have a hold of you, some different things, right? You know you can't give it up, then take a break from it, fast from it. I even go as far as to do kind of silent retreats. I've even done them in the home. My family thinks it's weird and kind of funny. My wife and kids make fun of me, but taking a 12-hour or 24-hour period where I tell them I'm not going to be speaking. I'm going to spend a lot more of that time in thought and meditation and reading. And I kind of lock myself in the study and I don't talk. So even fasting from speaking so you can get more aligned and in touch with your emotions and your thinking. Number 8, spending time in nature, understanding that plants are sentient beings, spending time in nature where there is more oxygen, where there is less of all these frequencies from all the electronics and lights and things that are constantly bombarding us. But leaving the phone at home and getting out alone in nature or with a group of people in nature where the oxygen is much richer, the environment and the vibrations are much higher, and that you can start connecting with these sentient beings and nature itself. Very powerful in helping you escape the matrix. Number 9, critical thinking. Not learning what to think. Everybody's telling you since you were born what to think, but teaching you how to think. A lot of people don't know how to employ critical thinking. Number 10, volunteering, whether it be at a local soup kitchen or wherever you can, but taking time to compassionately serve other people is very powerful in reminding us of the oneness of everybody and connecting us to everybody and building our understanding and empathy and seeing things from another perspective helps you escape that matrix. Number 11, taking care of the body temple. So exercise and the food that you put into it. It's like any other machine, right? If you put the wrong gasoline into a motor, it's not going to run right. Listen, if you wake up and you stuff your face full of too much caffeine and a bunch of sugary donuts, you're going to feel like crap. You're not going to be at your functioning at your highest vibration in your highest state, being able to receive and interact with everything. So that definitely plays a key role in it, more than I realized even until the last year. Travel is another great way, just like volunteering and serving, to help expose you to different mindsets, different ways of looking at the world, help you understand the oneness that you have with everybody on the planet. And even some other things. I remember living overseas, and like the first year, there was a presidential administration in the White House that I felt a certain way about. And when I was overseas watching their news broadcasts about this same president and their cabinet, I was shocked to hear how they were talking about him. So it was funny to see how there's different perspectives all around the world. And I just remember looking at TV and thinking, that's not true. That's not true. Whether it was true or not, understanding that people see things from different perspectives is very empowering, helping you realize that these news media outlets and all these people are trying to control the narrative and control our programming. So traveling helps you see that more and helps you uncover your oneness with everyone. Speaking of oneness with everyone, intentional peer group. There's a lot of sayings out there that you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, and that can be economically, that can be physically, that can be emotionally and spiritually, any of those things. And if you look at that, if you look at it in your own life, there's probably a lot of truth to that. And that might be something you play with. But when you're trying to get out of the matrix and you're trying to get to the next level, you have to be very intentional about who you surround yourself with. Many times we don't even realize it. We have friends with good intentions, but they're not at that next level. And they're oftentimes can be crabs in a bucket. They are anchors and weights that hold you in the level you are stuck in that matrix. So you got to be very intentional about picking who you're around and where you're trying to go. Number 14, getting free from organized religion. I myself am a licensed minister. I was a pastor at a large church. I was a missionary overseas. I have been in organized religion a large portion of my life. There is a time and a place for it. If you are in church right now, especially a young person, and it is making you happy, you are finding spiritual growth, then by all means, you can stay there. I'm not challenging that. What I would say, though, is long-term, look for the fundamental truths that run through all spiritual practices. Those are very powerful. And if you can latch hold of those fundamental truths that everybody agrees with, no matter what their organized religion, then that gives you a very strong foundation to work from spiritually and getting out of the matrix. Last but not least, something I'm only beginning to look into right now, so I can't speak a ton on it yet. I'm not going to speak a ton on it yet, but the use of psychedelics. There's a great scene in The Matrix where Morpheus says,
"Unfortunately, no one can be told what the Matrix is. You have to see it for yourself."
I think I'm starting to learn that psychedelics have the ability to possibly show us the Matrix in a very fast way, show us the reality of the Matrix, which would be divinely inspiring to help us want to escape it. I hope this helps and serves. Down in the description below, I'll put a link to a free morning routine course that I created that you can use. It's absolutely beginner friendly, but will be a foundational first few steps for helping you to escape the matrix and find more joy.